Good morning. It's good to be here and here with you today. I'm David Sanders, and I'm a member of the UU Fellowship of Clemson's Worship Associate Team. Each week, this community comes together to participate in worship, music, and reflection. This is where we seek to have our hearts opened and our imaginations fired. This is the place that reminds us that we are deeply connected to one another and all living things. Even though our building is closed, we gather together for weekly online worship. At 11:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, we also gather for social connection and the sharing of joys and concerns in our Zoom meeting. Please join us. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. This fellowship is a religious community grounded in the heritage and principles of Unitarian Universalism. We seek to create loving community, inspire joy and spiritual growth, and support courageous action. All are welcome regardless of religious background, political persuasion, ethnicity, age, ability, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression. If you have a desire to explore questions of truth and meaning and are respectful of our diversity of people and beliefs, you found kindred spirits here. If you'd like more information about this fellowship or Unitarian Universalism, please see the information about us on our website, UUFC.org. If you're interested in getting our weekly connection newsletter so you can get connected to our community for online social events, our weekly sharing of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local social justice work, please reach out to the office by email on our website. Here are some announcements for the week. I'm proud to share that we have entered phase 1 of our re-entry plan. That is hopefully getting us closer to the end of our COVID pandemic. See the website for details on what that means to be in phase 1 and the requirements associated with that. And I look forward to maybe being able to see some of you in 3D here in the very near future. I'd like to share also some of our ongoing weekly events. I already mentioned our social time later this morning at 11:30. Monday, meditation with Jean at 8 p.m. Wednesday, coffee with Christina at 2 p.m. And Thursday, online bingo with Karen at 6:30 p.m. In other news, if you missed our grounds work day yesterday, we will have another one each month for the months of March, April, and May, so stay tuned. We welcome your support in helping our grounds maintain its verdant beauty. I also wanted to announce that our Founders House has begun construction activity for our new teen room. This has been many years in the making, and we have finally broken ground and started construction activity. So as you are re-entering our facility for certain activities, and if that takes you into the Founders House, please be mindful of the construction activity and stay safe. I'd like to also announce a new covenant group that is forming, Parenting While in UU. If you have questions, you can see the link on our weekly connection or ask Karen Hebel if you have questions. As we wind down Black History Month, I wanted to announce one activity that's going on this afternoon from 3 to 4 p.m. It starts at the Old Main, which is the Clock Tower building, it's a tour that recognizes the contributions of African Americans at Clemson University. It is a walking tour. And also I wanted to highlight the article from our Social Action Committee Chair, Del Kimbler. Please take a look. It highlights a lot of the activities that we're doing around social action, and it's a very fruitful read for you. All of these announcements and more can be found in our weekly connection. So please take a look at that. And if you're not on our weekly connection, please email our church admin and sign up to be on the Weekly Connection. Now I'd like to share with you our opening words to begin our worship service. These opening words are by Reverend Teresa I. Soto. Bring your broken hallelujah here. Bring the large one that is beyond repair. Bring the small one that is too soft to share. Bring your broken hallelujah here. I know that people have told you that before you can give, you have to get yourself together. They overstated the value of perfection by a lot, or they forgot. You are the gift. We all bring some broken things, songs and dreams, and long-lost hopes. But here together, we reach within. As a community, we begin again. And from the pieces, we will build something new. There is work that only you can do. We wait for you.
Thank you, Dave, for our beautiful opening words, and thank you for the welcome and announcements. I am Reverend Christina-Branum Martin, and I'm the interim minister here at the UU Fellowship of Clemson. It is so good to be with you today. Let us begin by lighting our chalice and sharing our words of affirmation spoken each week by this fellowship. We gather together in the spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to care for one another. And in community, we also share and find strength and common purpose as we turn our minds and hearts towards one another. And we seek to bring into our circle of care all who need our love and support, and those who seek to share their joys and hopes. So now we light candles in recognition of these joys and concerns shared. We light this first candle for renewed hope and health for those in our community who've been dealing with long-term illness. We are hopeful that you are getting better. And we light this candle for those who've been struggling with continued isolation during this pandemic. It has been so hard. A long, long year. You are not alone. And we light this candle as Black History Month comes to an end. We acknowledge that Black history is our history. May the work of this month continue for the whole year as we learn how to understand that the stories of all persons, including those of persons of colors, are commingled in intricate and complex ways. We light a final candle in the knowledge that some of the most deeply felt sorrows and exuberantly felt joys lie unspoken in some hearts here today. We are grateful for the sacred connection that sharing the joys and concerns of each other enable us. They allow us to remember, to love, to care, and to celebrate.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Good morning. It's good to be with you all again. Today, we're going to talk about community. Do you know what a community is? That's right. A community is a group of people who live together. But it's a special kind of a group. For example, you might have some people who all live on the same street, but they don't talk to each other, they don't know each other's names, or share food, or help each other mow their lawns. We wouldn't really call that a community. Why? Because a community is a group of people who share a bond with one another. They spend time together. They help each other out. Being a part of a community means that we have a place where we can feel loved, no matter what. A community can give us a safe space to be who we are and to reach out to one another in friendship and love. In a truly special community, we can help others, and others can help us to be the best that we can be. Today's Time for All Ages is the true story of two women, Phyllis Lyon and Del Martin, and how they helped a street in San Francisco become a community of love and acceptance. When you look out the window, how Phyllis Lyon and Del Martin built a community. By Gail E. Pittman, illustrated by Christopher Lyles. Many years ago, we met and became friends. We fell in love. We moved in together on Valentine's Day. We saved up all our money to buy this house, and we sat holding hands and looked out the window together. We saw empty, quiet streets, doors tightly shut. So many women didn't have rights. People who were afraid of us. People who didn't think we should love each other. No feeling of community. So we worked to change that. When you look out the window now, what do you see? There is a beautiful red bridge, and there's a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. The rainbow tunnel's been here as long as we have. There is a church with a bell tower that reaches for the sky. The doors are wide open. The streets are filled with people waiting to get in. Over there is the most colorful building ever. There are women's faces painted all over it, and they're looking right back at you. They look strong and powerful. Over by the water, you'll see a building with a garden on top. That one. The one with pine trees and waterfalls. And a row of colored flags in front of it. You'll see a building that looks really important. It has a big dome with a shiny golden top. At night, in the summertime, the front lights up like a rainbow. Look just down the road, over there. You'll see a building that's made out of windows. It looks like it's warm in there. Our names are on the building next to it. That is a very warm place, too. At the bottom of our street, you'll see the biggest rainbow in the world flapping in the wind. And if you squint really hard, right next to that, you'll see two little outfits displayed in a window. They look like doll clothes from here. One is purple and the other is blue. Those are our favorite colors. So today, we don't see what we saw so long ago. We see busy streets filled with friendly people. We see open doors. We see women who can do anything. We see pretty flowers and trees. We see love. We see a big rainbow community.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. This was written by Reverend Joe M. Cherry. When my ears are full of the worries, the concerns, the pains of others, grant me permission for silence. When my arms and shoulders and back ache from the burdens of others, grant me permission to set them down. Guide me to another, a friend perhaps, to talk with, not for once to be talked at. And may I not be a burden to them as I pour out my pain, my weariness, my exhaustion, but a space of mutual care. My listener friend, may you always know, no matter how tired I am, you can turn to me too.
And now I'd like to share with you my reflection on the beloved community. And this originates from a challenge that one of my colleagues gave to me at work the other day when we were discussing diversity and inclusion and how we can be more inclusive. And I think this fits here as a good reflection. Many of us have heard the golden rule: treat others like we want to be treated. But in this age of improvement around diversity and inclusion, my colleague challenged me and my other colleagues to treat others like they want to be treated. So I challenge us to think about that for a few minutes. What does it mean to treat others like they want to be treated? Well, to me, that means that there has to be some dialogue to understand what it means for others and what they want, to maybe have some negotiation, to have some seeking to understand and really deep listening and hearing each other. So this was an inspiring thought for me to rethink the golden rule. And what it means to me is that now I am deliberately, as I create and co-create this beloved community for me and for us, I need to rethink actively how I engage with each person, rather than treating them how I would like to be treated, asking them how they would like to be treated. And if that is within my comfort zone, I adapt my approach. Also, if I find that how others want to be treated is not within my comfort zone, I seek further to understand and inquire, to really seek deeply how and why. Because I find that when I understand the why, on why somebody wants to be treated a certain way, it helps me to either buy in or adapt to what they're looking for, or find a way that I can be comfortable with in treating them how they want to be treated. So I share this thought with you just to challenge us and inspire us, hopefully, to rethink the golden rule as it relates to creating a more inclusive and diverse beloved community for ourselves. And now I'd like to share with you a reading. The reading is titled Hope, an Owner's Manual by Barbara Kingsolver. Look, you might as well know this thing is going to take endless repair. Rubber bands, crazy glue, heartstrings, sunrise. All of these are useful, also feathers. To keep it humming, sometimes you have to stand on an incline where everything looks possible, or on the line you drew yourself, or in the grocery store line, making faces at a toddler secretly over his mother's shoulder. You might have to pop the clutch and run past all the evidence, past everyone who is laughing or praying for you. Definitely, you don't want to go directly to jail, but still, here you go, passing time, passing strange. Don't pass this up. In the worst of times, you will have to park it and fly by the seat of your pants. With nothing in the bank, you'll still want to take the express, tiptoe past the dogs of the apocalypse that are sleeping in the shade of your future. Pay at the window, pass your hopes like a bad check. You might still have just enough time to make a deposit. And if somebody says your money or your life, you may have to say life and mean it.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We'll know we're there. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 We'll know we're there.
It is good to be together today. I sense a great deal of hope as I sense spring just bursting forth all around. The daffodils are blooming and the red bud trees, the buds are coming out and about to burst forth with their color. As the hymn titled Wo Ya Ya that we just heard says from the language of Ghana, we are going. I am hopeful as we are going headstrong into spring. Let's explore this hymn some more. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Wo Ya Ya, Wo Ya Ya. Wo Ya Ya was written by Ghanaian drummer Sol Amarifio, and Wo Ya Ya is the title song on the 1971 album by Oibisa, a musical group of Ghanaian and Caribbean musicians. It's said that this song is frequently heard in the work camps throughout Central West Africa in the 1970s and 1980s. And the arrangement in our UU hymnal, Singing the Journey, comes from the version by Isaiah Barnwell of Sweet Honey and the Rock. Wo Ya Ya, like many other African scat syllables, can have many meanings, but according to the song's composer, it means we are going. I find these words affirming and encouraging. They support human dignity and without question our Unitarian Universalist affirmation that every person has the right, even the responsibility to search out truth and meaning. And to me, it seems that this song supports our journey and affirms that we show up with hopefulness, questions, curiosity, and willingness, even if it's really a timid courage, to explore the path in front of us, even if we don't know what is coming next. So, as we together in this community focus on shared interim ministry as the fellowship this spring prepares for the process of looking at all of the myriads of things of calling a new minister, like the song that brings forth hope, questions, and curiosity, I ask you, what do you hope for? What are your questions? What are you curious about? And how do we courageously move forward together? We won't have all the answers to these questions neatly answered. It is a process, and that's okay. We're going, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will, but we'll get there. Wo Ya Ya. Last month, the board of UUFC met in retreat, and they were asked to think about the future and to reimagine what the fellowship could be. The process of imagining this future was emboldened hopefulness. With clarity, the board came up with 2 goals. Let me tell you how they got there. The process was first taken by asking, what values are alive and moving through this fellowship? And second, how does the mission of this fellowship create transformation in society? And third, how does the vision of the fellowship describe the beloved community? For it's the shared values of this fellowship which become the foundation for creating the mission of the fellowship, and thereby creating the vision of how to move forward towards beloved community. The board was attentive to what was learned this past year during the pandemic when they came up with their goals. They said that the pandemic accentuated that we value each other deeply, while we also value staying healthy. And we value seeing each other's faces and hearing each other's voices. So our connections moved online into the telephone calling tree. Many have been isolated physically and emotionally during this year. And we value and miss the families and children of the religious education program. So many reflected that the presence of the children's faces and their experiences were so sorely missed at this time. So the first goal was inclusion, an inward focus on serving those who are currently isolated, disconnected, and not active in the community at this time. And most importantly, the children and families are so highly focused on. The board was also aware that we value our connection to community. This was evident in that online donations to the fellowship's benevolences almost doubled during the pandemic. And we seek to make a difference in this local community. We value being active in the work for racial justice here in the fellowship and outside the fellowship. So the second goal was equity, an outward focus of expanding our work about racial justice. So inclusion and equity. Overall, there was a longing for connection and a hope that we will come out on the other side of this pandemic with a deeper kind of commitment to each other and to the community. This is reflected in these words by Reverend Mark Morrison Reed, who declares that the central task of religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. He says there is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amidst the particulars of our own lives and in the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the religious community that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. This religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. It is together that our vision widens and our strength is renewed. The vision of this fellowship are clear. The goals this year help define how the fellowship finds hope for the future through relationships. These relationships seek to build beloved community. The beloved community, as defined by Reverend Victoria Safford, is not a goal or a destination. It is not any kind of idealistic Christian utopian dream, but instead it is a way of being. Spiritually, politically, economically, emotionally, intellectually. Beloved community is an attitude, an orientation of the heart. It is a disciplined understanding of our own relationship to other people, to everyone else on the planet, and to every living thing. If you are religious, this is a religious discipline, and it goes by many names. If you are seeking spiritual wholeness, spiritual balance, it is a spiritual discipline. And if you are an ethical humanist, it is a deliberate moral stance. It is a daily practice, a spiritual politics that requires inclusivity, nonviolence, and the hard discipline of radical hospitality. It requires love, agape. I find great meaning in the word religion because it comes from the original meaning of re ligare, to bind ourselves together. Thus it is through our inward seeking love for each other and for the outward seeking love for the community at large that UUFC finds hope in building beloved community. what we will see out the window of UUFC in the years to come, like the biographical story of how Phyllis Lyon and Del Martin built a community in San Francisco as two prominent socially active lesbians who changed their own community. We too can build community here in Clemson by our persistence and our daily practice of building beloved community. I know this is a lot of religious language today for some here at the fellowship. Some here still dance with doubt about the role of ministry at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson, for this is a fellowship after all. Even after a decade since the first minister was hired, there are challenges to ministerial leadership in the present. Remember, ministerial leadership is a partner in creating the beloved community you hope for here in Clemson, with each other and with the community itself. The more partners, the better to reach your goals. Like Barbara Kingsolver said so poetically, to move forward with hope and the acceptance that you may have to fly by the seat of your pants and to tiptoe past the dogs of the apocalypse that are sleeping in the shade of your future. You must grasp life itself. As UUFC seeks to define itself today and who you hope to be as a community in the future, you must ask yourself again and again, what are the transcendent values that are the foundation of what this community is built on? For these are the deepest reasons you exist as a community. These reasons this year were focused on as inclusion and equity. Whoa, yeah. Yes, we are going. May the next settled minister be the partner you hope for as you bring these values into full light. For these values highlight the hopefulness, the questions, the curiosity, and the willingness, even if it's timid courage, to explore the path in front of you. So stay focused on those values as together, the focus of the work of interim ministry this spring will help prepare us for the search of calling that new minister. And in the process, we will keep asking, what do we hope for? What are the questions? What are we curious about? And how do we courageously move forward together? We won't have all the answers to these questions neatly answered because it is a process. And it takes time, and that's okay. We're going and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Well, yeah. As we come to the end of this service, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, my friends.